Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to our channel. Thank God it's Friday. Today is Friday and it's weekend. Of course, you need some rest for yourself. And how was the week? God has blessed your week and will still be in your week. Now, I want to release the bombshell that our Prime Minister is telling us. At times, after listening to him, I break down in tears because actually there is serious problem and danger ahead of us. But we need to be very strong and courageous. Let's do it once and for all, and Biafra will come. Yes, it's not easy to give birth to a child. Biafra must come, no matter how hard, either by cesarean or by self-delivery. Biafra will be delivered as a baby, and it will come. Let's hear him out, please. Thank you.
The report said that both nations, Biafra and Amazonia, are looking for safe haven, and that will destabilize the region. Like I've said before, we start having an attack. It is not us that destabilizes the region. The region has already been destabilized by the invaders, whose ulterior motive is to turn everybody into Islamic State, either directly or indirectly. And we have no choice. We are left with no other choice than to defend our land, defend our women and our children. And today it is happening. I can never, ever back down, step back an inch from the decision that we have made to liberate ourselves from the shackles of this particular subjugation. That the enablers, both the enablers, their sponsors, the vendors, has brought on our people. Our decision is what is going to work for us. Yes. The model we are following today not Gandhi model, not Martin Luther model. It is a model that is going to work for Biafra. Our own. Because we are in a different era, yes, my people. And we are facing completely different problem. Yes. The complexity of the problem we are facing today requires a very different approach. So when anybody tells you to go and look how other people did it, tell them we are not looking at how any other person did it. We are looking at how we are going to do it in our own way to solve our own problem. And I will continue to say it anyway. We have found a way to make sure that Nigeria does not kill us again and go free. We have found a way to fight our way out of Nigeria. Yes. And that way is the only way that works for us. Not me going on hunger strike. It doesn't move Nigeria. Nigeria will celebrate it. I'm on a strike already. Not me doing any other thing, saying, oh, everybody should drop arms because Gandhi used non-violent. And when we talk about violent, when we talk about non-violent, I do not know who is using violent. Is it us who have been killed for carrying ordinary flag? Is it us who have been killed for going out to the streets to say enough is enough? Is it us who have been killed in our own homes? Our children, our women has been killed, raped in our own homes. Who is violent? Is it us who have said you can't kill us again? Or is it those who have been perpetrating this particular heinous crime against our people for ages? And we have risen up today to say, no, you can't do it anymore. And they want to give you a bad name, say you are violent. If that is the definition of violent, I am violent. Yes. I can never stop this violent. Oh. If it is to defend my people is what you know to be a violent, I am violent. Not violent until the freedom comes. Oh my God. Thank you very much. Choyo Ayaba, you can go ahead from here, please.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mr. Prime Minister. Am I being heard?
Yes,
very well. Very well. Right. I would like to address a couple of issues and look into the future. we should be very optimistic, not because we are more powerful than those who've held us captive since we were born, but because we are wiser.
Yes.
And the Prime Minister talked about instability. Instability is caused by insecurity. And insecurity is caused by poverty that is induced through mismanagement, corruption, and lack of accountability. Our both nations, both the economic and political infrastructures have been hijacked and tailored to satisfy a handful of gun-wielding, powerful individuals who have now caused even the collapse now of the Naira. And I'm happy that the Prime Minister and myself, we've had discussions on establishing an intermediate currency for Biafra. The violation of human rights, torture, and arrest, imprisonment, lack of fair trial, summary execution has been the cause of instability. Environmental degradation, getting into Biafra land, into Amazonia, with corporations whose sole interest is profit and engaging in activities without concern for the protection of the environment, has caused oil spills, has caused health hazards. Those are the causes of instability. And I can agree with the Prime Minister more. If you go further to looking at these reports, which purport to cite primary and secondary sources, they are produced in what I call a Eurocentric manner that negates the contextual realities which, if followed, would have produced reports that are not only objective, but reflect the reality of the moment. You find the report, talking about the Amazonian Governing Council and others as militias. And that is not only abusive, but it is wrong. But one of the reasons why we wanted to highlight this report, as the Prime Minister has said, is also because if we do not establish the institutions that can produce our own reports, others will do it for us. And that's why during our last outing, we talked about creating the Amazonia Biafra International Relations Institution that will be responsible for overseeing opportunities. And I state this here. Amazonia has engaged in negotiation already. The first failed attempt was through the Swiss government. The second aborted attempt was through the Canadian government. And in my leadership, I have always brought up the Biafran issue because the destabilization being caused in Biafra by all the issues I have named is going to affect the economic prosperity of Amazonia and the political stability which is required for investment in Amazonia. So we must look into how we are going to shape an approach that is going to undermine the approaches that have been established within the continent. For example, the report highlights the importance of the African Union in either resolving or getting involved into the conflict. If we just look at the last African Union, over 5 countries did not, or more countries did not participate because they consider the African Union as having been hijacked by either the European Union, as we saw the French intervention in undermining the supposed currency that they wanted to put in place. We have also realized that the African Union is made up of friends who safeguard the interests of friends, do not have the interests of the constituents they represent, do not have the interests of the millions of Africans. So you can find that Africans are being attacked in South Africa, you will hardly get criticism. You will find that Africans are being molested across the continent. The heads of states that are overseeing these countries for the interests of foreign corporations can never be held to account because the other countries that are supposed to hold them to account are also ruled by individuals who are either corrupt, inefficient, or dictatorial in their economic and political approaches. So how do we move forward? Who do we look up to? Do we want to, as Biafrans and Ambazonia, create a new world order that redefines, the concept of state interrelationship, concept of sovereignty, state security? How do we want to do it? As the Prime Minister said, the Gandhis, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X, the Mandelas existed at a particular time. Also, their time and their approaches responded to the geopolitical relationship that existed then. The struggles between capitalism and communism, where international actors could support one side to push them to adopt economic models or political systems that are commensurate to their own. We have harnessed the power of the social media. I will not remind you that we are on Twitter. Then, during the Mandelas, you needed a radio station to be able to communicate. Oh God. Now, we have the power of the social media. We can undermine constructed narratives, the books written by historians that favor the occupiers of our country can be undermined through knowledge created by the access we have using the social media. So how can we positively not only use the social media to undermine the narrative that treats us as subject to the master state, but also to create alternative political, economic, and social models that will be embraced by our peoples? It is not enough to let the people know what you are fighting against. It is more important to let the people know what you are fighting to offer. This is why we must not wait for the kind of economic model we want to be established only after we have completely defeated colonialism. Biafra and Ambazonia must begin to trade and regulate the trade and make sure that those who trade pay taxes to both institutions that can be used to be reinvested within communities to create proper systems of education, proper systems of cohesion that keeps our people clean environment and that gives our people respect and dignity. We are not going to wait until we defeat these enemies to establish an education system that is going to develop curriculum of education that responds to economic and socio-economic and political reality. We are not going to sit here and study about fishing and forestry in Norway when you can deal with it down there in Biafra. I told Ambazonians the other day, Singapore got palm. I think from Inigo, Singapore what it produces in terms of monetary value in palms is $11 billion a year from palms imported from Biafra. It has established a palm industry and subsidiary industry through palm production that creates jobs and opportunities, and that is able to capture the economic potentials, further training, transform the resources at base. So you don't produce palm nuts, you are not able to benefit from it. We are not going to wait until the collapse of these systems to begin to build the kind of society that we promise our people. That is why I agree with the Prime Minister that our own models are different. We are not also going to wait until freedom to shape international politics. When I started discussing with diplomats, I came to realize how limited they were in terms of content, in terms of knowledge. Their knowledge was captured through colonial prison, through economic interest. I came to realize that though France is supporting Cameroon, France has more investment in Nigeria than it has in Cameroon. You see? My people, we are the game changers. We are the disruptors. And I want us to think we are billionaires, not based on the amount of money that is stuffed in our account, but based on the ideas that we have that can transform our societies today. We have today disruptor missionaries that can turn the wasteland in the delta, all the spilled oil, into clean drinking water that can save the health of our people, into manure that can be invested in the agricultural sector, into electricity that can power every household. The waste that is produced by our occupiers, if we bring ourselves together, we are going to employ the new technology that will turn that waste into clean drinking water. A sick population is not good for economic production. A sick population cannot accumulate wealth. Half of our population are sick from diseases that can be treated, but deliberately abandoned so that you can be dependent on your occupier. Our health infrastructures have been collapsed, where billionaires have their coffers stuffed with a lot of money. Our environment has been destroyed. The destroyers are flying private jets and living in hotels that you and myself and our children, our great-grandchildren, the next generation, if we don't fight today, will never dream of living in those places. Yes. They are dancing in Aso Rock. They are making birthday parties in Yaoundé. And I and you are in exile, struggling to find a space to call home, a place where you can even bury your own dad and find his grave next time, not ravished by dogs. This is what we face. But what we face also provides us an opportunity, not only to be people who complain about the international system. What have we got to offer? We've got to organize ourselves. And I'm glad the de facto government in the homeland is going to be the true representatives of the Biafran people. It is going to organize communities. It is going to make sure that it creates infrastructures and systems, credit systems that can give the poor farmer credit to be able to invest and create wealth and send the children to good schools. Create a curriculum of education that is going to teach your children how to be mechanical engineers, how to produce beauty. Not to tell you that a hairdresser is bad. Being a mechanic means you're stupid. Being an electrician means you didn't go to school. We use words to change the future. We use words to give you hope. We use words to make you not to be afraid. We use these words to tell our enemies that you can alter your approach today for the benefit of your own people, or this generation will collapse your systems. Yes. We have just gotten started. We will not succeed if we blink. We will not succeed if we compromise. We will never succeed if we do not give them method for method and ideal for ideal. But most importantly, all of the things we say today, we articulate are mere words. If we do not transform them into actions that can benefit our people today, it will be useless. Amazonia has risen. Biafra has risen. Our neighbors and the world better get used to from today that these nations exist. Before they were here, we were here. When they will be long gone, we will still be here. Yes. And both flags will still hover and tower over our both nations. All hail Biafra, all hail Amazonia.
All hail Biafra, all hail Amazonia. Thank you very much, Dr. Cho, for that wonderful speech there, touching everything as it is. You know, the enemy has always used this reverse psychology. They always tell you it is your activities that is bringing the military to kill people. It is your activities that is making your region to be destabilized. And like you just rightfully pointed out, when the government fail, it gives birth to insecurity, and that insecurity will start destabilizing the region. And that's exactly what has happened. But even more to it, the government by themselves sponsors the insecurity. The government by themselves sponsor terrorism. Everything. The government by themselves aid and abet the terrorists that are coming to kill our people. That has led to what is happening today. But you know, when we start defending ourselves, just like you and I have started doing for our both nation, they all forgot how bad it were before you even came to the picture. They all forgot how bad it were before Simon Ekpa even came to the picture. That before Simon Ekpa came to the picture, people are being killed in their praying ground. Before Simon Ekpa came to the picture, women, children, heads are being cut off in their villages. Yes. Before Simon Ekpa came to the picture, markets were being burnt. And this has been what our people went through before now. But today, what they will tell you, how Dr. Cho destabilized Amazonia, how Simon Ekpa is one responsible for bringing the military to kill. All those things, they call them reverse psychology. And you know, because we know exactly the importance of freedom of our people, what it will be, how the future will be bright, the education system, social service system, pro-social amenity from the government, because we have lived in the Western world and we have come to understand how the system works here. And that is why we said enough is enough. Not only that we are also very much versed in international law. The same law that many of these countries, including Cameroon and Nigeria, are signatory to, which are the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Self-determination right of the United Nations. Nigeria ratified it. Same thing, the African Union, the Charter of African Union on Human Rights and People's Rights, Article 21. These are the things that many of these people don't understand. We are looking for a nation where the citizens will be proud to call a nation. We're looking for a nation where we know we will not be branded as criminals and internet fraudsters. We're looking for a nation where the government will take responsibility of its own citizens. We are looking for a nation where the security of every person will be the first and utmost priority of the government. We are looking for a nation where democracy will be the order of the day, where the people's right to vote will be counted, respected, where a true democracy and a true democratic process will be implemented to the fullest. We are looking for a country where people can sleep and their two eyes closed, like many of us are sleeping in a different country of residence, because the land is secured.
Yes.
And the Biafra government in exile and Amazonia Governing Council has done that job from the scratch. We in the government in exile of Biafra have embarked on the database of the Biafra people. At the same time, like the Dr. Cho mentioned here about the currency of Biafra and Amazonia, we've had extensive discussion, plan, making sure that we put every structure in place. And this structure is already coming to stay. The Biafra coin will be out very soon. The same thing with the Biafra National Identity Card. The Biafra database system, it will be out soon. We are not just doing this for the sake of it, but we are doing it to make sure that our people do not jump from fry pan to fire. We want to preach and do what we preach. We want to make sure that the freedom we are looking for and the dream that we have for our people are the dream that is realistic, and dream that is achievable, and dream that we put their interests first before anything. That's why this sacrifice is being made. For those who do not understand the importance of this particular alliance, Biafra and Amazonia, not just in the alliance, but the emergence of these countries. For those who do not understand the importance, like I have said, Sahel is being overrun by terrorists. In the entire West African state, Amazonia and Biafra remain the only two nations that are completely pure and clean from the terrorist spirit. I stand to be challenged anyway. Mention one country in the south, in the Western Africa, that has not been infiltrated by the Islamic State agenda. Mention one. All of them, from A to Z, terrorists are in charge of many countries, including this African Union. And that is what many people do not understand. But the point is, it is not late. The more you sabotage the freedom of Amazonia and Biafra, the more you enslave yourself and the more you open yourself to a threat of Islamization. This is a fact. Check yourself and check the countries within the West Africa. I want you to mention one country that you can look at and you see the potential you are going to see in Biafra and Amazonia. Mention one country. There is none. All these countries have been caged. And the only hope many of them have today is this emerging nation, the Biafra and Amazonia. where we are going to join forces, very powerful forces, to make sure that the upsurge of the terrorists from the Sahel will be haunted to the minimum. The disintegration of Nigeria, the exit of Amazonia will go a very long way in cutting very short the ideal, the agenda of the terrorists within the Sahel. Once Biafra exit, the interest of the terrorists, the interest of the Islamic State has been disintegrated. And this is a fact that everybody must know. We are not saying that we are going to be the police of Africa, no. But we are going to be a model to so many African countries. And that model is very, very crucial and very important. So if you are an Amazonian, find yourself in Amazonian territory, even if you believe in Amazonia or you don't believe in Amazonia, know one day that Cameroon can never be the option. Whatever you go through, whoever you are, whatever Cameroon has made you to become today, you can never attain your potential under Cameroon. The same thing to Biafra people. You can never attain your potential as a Biafran in Nigeria. Today, the hunger in Nigeria, the hardship in Nigeria is ringing bell. And only Biafra people are the ones that are not protesting. The reason being that we have never relied on government. That is the secret. Biafra has never, ever in the history of Nigeria relied on the government of Nigeria. And today the result is here. The people that are crying are the one benefiting from the Nigeria. That is the reason when you talk about the betterment of the people when they exit Nigeria, they say, no, you must stay in Nigeria because Nigeria feed them. Yes. But the same Nigeria don't feed Biafra. The policy of the government has always been against the Biafra people. But Biafra are self-made. You are already autonomy on your own. So whatever the policy the government put, it doesn't affect you because you have built your economy by yourself. You provide electricity for yourself. You provide water for yourself. You provide school for yourself. You build road for your community. You put street light for your community. There has never been Nigeria government present anywhere in Biafra land. And when these people who have been living on Nigeria government fund, palliative and all that, now the palliative is not there, they are crying, waiting for Igbo people or Biafra people to start shouting, oh, the hunger is too much. They can never shout because they has never relied on Nigeria government for their existence. This is the hard truth. But it is not only on this particular self-governance, it is also going to be a model for Biafra nation. If you can survive in Nigeria and everybody is crying and it is only Biafrans that are not crying, I want you to think about how it is going to be when you are independent, have the opportunity to govern yourself, make policies for yourself, how you are going to be. It can never be compared to Nigeria, no matter how bad it will be. So our people, irrespective of the blackmail, we will stand very firm. Irrespective of the propaganda, we will continue to stand very, very firm. Yes. It is not what you call me and Dr. Cho today that matters, but what you are going to call us in the next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. God bless you because you have been awesome for Biafrans. Without you, oh, I don't know the condition of Biafrans today. But thank God, God placed you there to at least put the enemies to stand still. And God will use you to destabilize them completely. Hence, you can hold them this far. Then you'll be able to destabilize them completely. Please, ahead. Look ahead. Victory is sure. Thank you.